I want to say something that's going to sound completely insane, and I need you to hear me out before you click away. Because once the math clicks, you will never think about money the same way again. Your first $10,000 is harder to make than your first $1 million. Not emotionally harder, not psychologically harder, mathematically, mechanically, structurally harder. The actual difficulty of accumulating wealth drops dramatically after your first $10,000 and keeps dropping every milestone after that. If that sounds backwards to you, good, it should, because everything you were taught about money was built around the wrong starting point. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why, and more importantly, what to do about it. Let me prove this to you with pure math. No opinions, no motivation, just numbers. Imagine you have absolutely nothing saved. Zero. You're starting from scratch. To get your first $10,000, you need to earn money, pay taxes on it, cover your living expenses, and somehow have $10,000 left over. You are doing all the heavy lifting yourself. Every single dollar of that $10,000 came directly from your labor, your time, your energy, your sacrifice. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you have $10,000, it starts working alongside you. At 8% annual returns, that $10,000 generates $800 per year. Still small, still mostly you doing the work, but the ratio has shifted slightly in your favor. At $100,000, your money generates $8,000 per year on its own. That's real. That's meaningful. You're now working with a partner that never sleeps, never complains, never calls in sick. At $500,000, your money generates $40,000 per year.
You might not even need your job anymore. At $1 million, your money generates $80,000 per year. The average American household income showing up automatically without you lifting a finger. But here's the part that will make your jaw drop. Getting from $900,000 to $1 million, that last $100,000 takes your portfolio about 15 months to generate on its own at 8% returns. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't have to save it. It just showed up because you already had $900,000 working for you. Compare that to your very first $10,000. Every dollar of that had to come from you, your time, your labor. For most people, that takes years of discipline with zero help from existing wealth. That is why your first $10,000 is harder than your first $1 million. This is Wealth Flip, and I break down the real mechanics of wealth building, the stuff that actually moves the needle instead of the generic advice that keeps most people broke. Subscribe if you want more of this.
Let me make this even more concrete, because I want this to permanently change how you see your savings account. Think of wealth building as a hill. In the beginning, you are pushing a boulder up an almost vertical slope. Every inch of progress costs maximum effort. You're sweating, straining, making painfully slow progress. This is the $0 to $10,000 phase. Hardest part of the entire journey, and almost nobody tells you that going in. But as you push that boulder higher, two things happen simultaneously. The slope gets less steep, and the boulder starts pushing itself. By the time you're near the top, near that $1 million mark, the boulder is practically rolling on its own. Your job has shifted from pushing to simply steering. Here's the exact numbers. If you're saving $500 a month with zero starting balance, here's how long each milestone takes at 8% annual returns. $10,000, about 19 months. Almost 2 years of discipline just to hit 5 digits. Every dollar earned by you. $50,000, about 6.5 years. Still mostly you, but your money is starting to contribute meaningfully. $100,000, about 11 years. Your money is now contributing roughly $8,000 per year alongside your $6,000 in annual contributions. But here's where the math turns magical. Once you hit $200,000, your portfolio generates $16,000 per year on its own. That's more than double your annual savings contribution without you doing anything extra. You are now the minority partner in your own wealth building. Your money is doing more work than you are. And that $1 million milestone,
By the time you're at $900,000, your portfolio generates more in a single year than most people save in a decade. The million almost makes itself.
Now here's the part that makes this really dangerous. And I mean dangerous in the best possible way. Most people quit during the hardest part. They spend 2 years getting to $10,000 and feel like nothing is working. The returns feel invisible. The progress feels impossible. So they give up, spend the $10,000, and start over from zero. What they don't realize is they just quit at the base of the hill, right before the slope starts to ease. They pushed the boulder almost to the point where it starts helping them, then walked away. This is the single most expensive mistake in personal finance. Not buying the wrong stock, not missing a trend. Quitting during the steepest part of the climb, right before the math starts working in your favor. And the worst part? The people who do this often repeat it. They save, spend, resetting to zero over and over, never getting past the hardest part, never experiencing the point where their money works harder than they do. And they wonder why, after 20 years of trying, they still have nothing saved. The answer isn't that they didn't make enough money. The answer is they kept starting over at the hardest point of the journey.
But here's something that nobody in finance talks about, and I think it's the most important thing in this entire video. The reason the first $10,000 feels so impossibly hard isn't just mathematical, it's psychological. And understanding this changes everything. When you're saving your first $10,000, every dollar feels like a sacrifice. You're saying no to things you want right now. The returns are invisible. 8% of $2,000 is $160. That's not exciting. That doesn't feel like progress. Your brain, which is wired to seek immediate reward, keeps asking, why am I doing this? What's the point? This is what psychologists call hyperbolic discounting. Your brain values things in the present dramatically more than things in the future. A coffee today feels more real than $50,000 in 10 years, even though rationally, you know which one matters more. And here's the cruel irony. The people who need discipline the most, those just starting out with nothing, are working with the least mathematical encouragement. The returns are tiny. The progress is slow. The sacrifice is maximum. Meanwhile, the people who need discipline the least, those with large portfolios, get maximum mathematical encouragement every single month. Their money generates thousands in returns automatically. Progress is visible, exciting, and self-reinforcing. The system literally rewards those who are already winning and punishes those who are just starting. Which means getting through that first $10,000 isn't just a financial achievement. It's a psychological one. You are fighting your own brain and winning, which is genuinely one of the hardest things a person can do.
Here's what I want you to take away from this, and I want you to really sit with it. If you are currently working toward your first $10,000, you are doing the hardest thing. Not the second hardest, not one of the hard things. The hardest thing in the entire wealth building journey. The slope is steepest exactly where you are standing right now. Every person who ever became wealthy had to cross this exact valley. Every single one. Warren Buffett had a first $10,000. Every self-made millionaire had a phase where returns felt invisible, and the sacrifice felt massive, and the whole thing felt pointless. They pushed through anyway. And on the other side of that valley, the math permanently shifted in their favor and never shifted back. So if you're in that valley right now, if $10,000 feels impossibly far away, I need you to understand something. You are not failing. You are not bad at this. You are experiencing exactly what every wealthy person experienced before the math started helping them. The difficulty you feel right now is not a sign that it's not working. It's a sign that you're in the hardest part, which means you are also the closest you have ever been to the point where everything gets easier.
One final thing before I let you go, because this is where most people make the fatal mistake, even after they understand everything I just told you. They reach $10,000, they feel the relief, they feel the pride, and then They spend it. Because they've been sacrificing for so long that the reward feels earned. And in a sense, it is earned. But here's the brutal truth. Spending your first $10,000 doesn't just cost you $10,000. It costs you the compounding that $10,000 would have generated for the next 30 years. At 8% annual returns over 30 years, $10,000 becomes $100,000. You are not spending $10,000. You are spending $100,000 of future wealth and replacing it with whatever you bought. Is whatever you're about to buy worth $100,000 to you? Sometimes the answer is yes. Medical emergency? Yes. Life-changing opportunity? Yes. But a new phone? A vacation? A car upgrade? Probably not. Probably not even close.
Your first $10,000 is the hardest money you will ever make. Not because of the number, but because you make it entirely alone, without your wealth working alongside you yet. Every dollar after that gets progressively easier. Every milestone makes the next one faster. The math that feels invisible right now becomes undeniable at $50,000, overwhelming at $100,000, and almost comical at $1 million. But it all starts with surviving the steepest part of the climb. And that starts with understanding, really understanding, that the difficulty you feel right now is not permanent. It is the price of admission to the part of the journey where your money starts doing the heavy lifting for you. Keep going. The slope is about to get a lot easier. Your future self is counting on the version of you that decides not to quit today. If this changed how you think about your savings, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this. And subscribe, because next week we are talking about the exact order you should invest your money in. And most people are getting this completely wrong, and it's costing them years of progress.